You know, and we all have our 15 minutes of fame, and I'd like to take a couple of my 15 minutes to talk about the rights and the wrongs in the world of professional wrestling.
WWE Championship.
This match is for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship.
The World Heavyweight Championship.
The match and new NWA Heavyweight Champion.
We appreciate you guys coming out and taking your time to support women's wrestling in America.
This match is for the AWA World Heavyweight Wrestling Championship.
All about winning. It's all about the WOW World Championship belt.
This is the most prestigious belt in wrestling.
Fabulous. Lana Starr has it. Everyone wants
Bring me the belt.
I want the belt.
And I could definitely see myself going for that title match.
I'm coming for that belt because it belongs to me.
If you think you're coming anywhere close to this, you've got another thing coming.
One by one, I will go through your entire roster until the only person that's left is Lana Starr.
Welcome back to another episode. This is Mr. Green, your host, and this is the WOW Season 2 review. Episode 4, High Expectations, which features Tatevik The Gamer taking on Santana Garrett in a one-on-one match. Of course, with every release of the new episodes, they also release bonus content. And I'm going to talk about that for a little bit, too. In fact, I'm going to go into the bonus content first. The bonus content that they put out this week was the Bully Busters While They Fight, Tag Team Champions, and the best attorney in the world, and the defense does not rest. Now, before I go into that, I have to go back and put in the disclaimer that I try to do with these particular episodes. That if you're the hardcore wrestling fan, some of the stuff may not be for you. Also, I know that the bonus stuff is kind of tossed in there, seemingly at random, because it doesn't. It started off looking like it was connected to the videos that was being released at the time. When I say the videos, I mean the full match. But this particular case, that seems different because the match has nothing to do with Caged Heat or the Bully Busters or Sophia Lopez. But that's the additional content that you got. So I don't know. I don't know. Oh, but they did release a bonus clip with Santana Garrett. I forgot about that, a chip off the old block. So that is something relatable to the match. But before I go into the chip off the old block, let's talk about the stuff that is non-relatable. And that's all the things that are assumably setting up for the next video. The Tag Team Champions, Cage Heat, to face off against the Bully Busters. We have seen one match from the Bully Busters. That was a bonus match that was tossed out in December, where they lost to the team of Tropical Storm. And I don't believe that their win-loss record gets any better. So I'm not sure exactly what the Bully Busters are supposed to, what their status in the WOW is supposed to be. But I'll reserve that judgment until I actually see the match. The video that they set up for the Bully Busters, it gives a lot of background information on them. I had the opportunity to interview Keita Rush, which you can get that interview in full right on our YouTube channel. So you can, I think it's been posted on our Facebook page as well. But you can get the full interview. And what I found with interviewing the various participants in WOW is that WOW is seemingly incorporating a lot of their real life experiences into their character and their storyline. She actually was bullied, and she actually was kind of beaten down and kind of beaten into a pulp. Stephanie, her tag team partner, I didn't get a chance to talk to, but they had the cameras following her around in very much a reality TV style format. And they introduced the Bully Busters to the world, why they're doing what they're doing, their inspiration behind doing what they're doing. I thought the clip was pretty good. It might have been lengthy, but yeah, I thought the clip was pretty good, and it kind of establishes them as a team and somebody that you can root for, that you can, immediately that they're the baby faces. Now, the opposite end of that, you had Cage Heat pretty much making fun of them in their clip, talking about, everybody gets bullied and blah, blah, blah. You want us to feel sorry for you, boo-hoo. They did everything that a heel should or would do. I thought it was okay. The one that I thought was entertaining, the most entertaining, was the defense does not rest, and that was the introduction of the Sophia Lopez character. The reason I found that entertaining, one, the Sophia Lopez character works perfect in the WoW universe. She is exactly that. She is such a character. And for the first time since I watched, I think this is one of the most in-depth, maybe not in-depth, but they went into the story about how she got him out of prison without being too chatty about it. It's not like she told this long, drawn-out story. She gave you just enough. It was like, I represented them. I got them out. They're on permanent parole, and we've come back here to Wild to where they received their first opportunity with David McClain, and we want to show that they can, do right and this and that. Now, she didn't mean all that crap about they could do right, but she gave you the story of Cage Heat in a nutshell, and probably faster than anybody else that's done any of these bonus clips. I mean, it was right down to the nuts and bolts, told you what you need to know. I got them out. Here they are. They got the opportunity. This is why we're back. The only thing that they may have missed on is, how they managed to retain the championships for over 10 years. I would have loved to hear her say, not through my legal maneuvering, I got them the championships handed right back to them as soon as WoW started back up. I mean, that would have been great. That would have been how I put it down, but, it's not my show. But in any case, I mean, having her sit on that couch and give this promo as to the perks and the virtue of Cage Heat, and then cut into Loka kind of mouthing along with her and pantomiming as Sophia's giving her statements. I thought, I thought that was pretty entertaining for what WoW is. And it's probably been the most entertaining clip that I've seen from WoW since they put this thing out. The other one that they have, the best attorney in the world, is essentially the same thing. I really don't even know why they uploaded it. The first one did fine. Or I shouldn't say the first one, because actually the best attorney in the world clip comes first. But the defense does not rest is a perfect clip, does everything it needs to do, tells you why Cage Heat's out. With that, I'm not even sure why you needed to have Cage Heat, because at the end of that, she says, I want to give the Bully Busters an opportunity at the championship, because I believe in opportunity, and she's kind of disingenuous with it, because then she goes into the reasons why, like, y'all talk about being Bully Busters, but you bully me, you talk about my accent and this and that and all that stuff. And you get the impression, and you know that she only wants to give that title match so that Cage Heat can get revenge for her. Without having seen it, without having seen whatever confrontation the Bully Busters had with Cage Heat, the Sophia Lopez clip sets all of that up. It is probably the best done bonus clip that they have done so far. Okay, so we're going to move from those. Those are the bonuses, because they really have nothing to do with the match right now. I just had to get in that because I wanted to give some praise to it. It's a thumbs up for me. If I had to grade that particular clip, I'd give it an A. It is the first A that I would have for anything on this new release. I give it an A. The bonus clip with Santana Garrett, of course, I think this was done 2012, and this is maybe the first time that you got a real introduction to Santana Garrett and who she is as a wrestler. She introduces herself as second generation, her father being TNT Kenny G. Now, that's not someone, all due respect to him, that's not somebody that you're going to know on a wide scale basis, because he I don't believe he was a national name. He was kind of a journeyman wrestler up in the St. Louis area, but it doesn't devalue the fact that she is a second generation wrestler, and she traveled along with him. She got to tell that story within the bonus clip, like comparing it to being an Army kid. Like, you travel a lot. I guess kind of like not really in one area for a great length of time. You got to go where the money is. If you're an independent wrestler, you got to keep moving. So they also had him there, and he gave his praise for his daughter for getting into the wrestling business, and she knows it inside and out. She from taking down the ring and making the popcorn and all that stuff. So right away we can see that they've given the picture that Santana Garrett has paid her dues. What I did not get to see is Tatevik. I didn't see any footage of her where they kind of introduced her as a character or anything like that. I mean, they gave you something at the beginning of the match, but certainly not in the bonus clip form the way that Santana got it. Santana got a kind of a full-blown thing, and I think we missed a little bit of that on Tatevik. That's not a big deal, but it would have been nice to have seen. Now, the match itself, Episode 4, High Expectations, Tatevik The Gamer versus Santana Garrett. It was an okay match. It was pretty slow. I mean, this is a babyface versus babyface match, first off, and they worked it like a babyface versus babyface match. Nobody showed any aggression here. It was just move and counter move. I do my shtick, you do your shtick, and the match in and of itself was fine, but there was nothing for you to rant and rave about. It was exactly that. It was a chess match. I do this, you do that. It was slow. I have to warn you with that much. It is slow. And I can almost guarantee that if Santana Garrett today were dropped into that match and she was, again, kind of found with the task of carrying the match off, she probably would give so much more now, and that would be expected because she's so much more experienced today in 2016 than she was in 2012. She was relatively new. She had more experience than most of the other girls there, with the exception of a few, but she had more experience than most of the other girls, just not enough to carry a match with somebody brand spanking new. And I think Tadic did a fine job. Surprisingly, she did not work the WoW style that I talked about earlier, where every WoW girl does the same opening thing. They lock up kind of weak. They crank the arm, and then they stomp the mat 3 times, or they put you in the side headlock and they stomp the mat 3 times. She didn't do that. So I was impressed. And giving credit to Tatevik after WoW ceased operation, she did take the Tatevik character on the road for a while. I do not believe she wrestles regularly with it, but I know that she's had at least 2 or 3 matches. Now, in the grand scale of things, 2 or 3 matches over the course of a year or many years at this point is nothing, but still give a thumbs up for her for at least giving the effort to try to do it. And she looked like she could at least grow into it. I don't know if that's her desire. I don't know if that's her passion. Like, I want to be a wrestler. I get the impression that it's not. But she does look comfortable in the ring. And if she were going to pursue it, I think that you could get something good out of her, given, a couple of years, a year or 2 time to kind of build herself up. But again, the match in and of itself, slow. It's a babyface match. Tatevik goes over. I mean, the only one real criticism there is this test of strength spot that they had in the middle of the match, where they lock up in the middle of the ring and they're trying to force each other down. Tatevik basically just bends over backwards for Santana. I mean, it looked about as realistic as let me not. I don't want to go over that. It didn't look real at all. Was basically what I was getting. I was going to make a really bad comparison, but it didn't look real at all. She just kind of flopped backwards to show the strength of Santana Garrett, and then she pushed up and caught Santana, which Santana, of course, sold it a little differently, a little better. They did the double split spot where Santana knocks Tatevik down and forces her into a split. Then Tatevik forces her into a split. So, again, it's not long. The match is about 6 minutes from bell to bell. The clip is longer than that, but if you count from start to finish of the match itself is 6 minutes long, which is about the rough time that a WoW match goes. They're usually pretty short. But it's slow. It could be entertaining, could be better, but it's about an average match. That's about basically all I can give it. So that being average, I'd say I would give it a B. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. It was above average for what WoW has put out thus far. So that's why it gets the B with me. Some of the other things that I kind of take away from that just real quickly is, and I said this before, is that I know I'm going to nitpick because I'm an editor and I do video production, so some of these things come off as really blatantly obvious to me. But the post editing just drove me up the wall. The match didn't drive me up the wall. The post editing did. And I'm going to start with the crowd because I know this is what necessitated necessitated. See, I'm fumbling over my words. But that's what necessitated the post-editing in the beginning. The crowd is terrible. That crowd is crap. And that is no reflection on WoW. The crowd is just awful. They practically are sitting on their hands while this match is going on. And they're not giving them anything. I don't know if this is, hour 3 of the taping or whatever, but they are just sitting around twiddling their thumbs. I mean, they're watching the match, but they're not doing anything to kind of, give a vibe there. And if you don't know how important a crowd is to a good show, I mean, a lot of you guys that go to the indie shows, you know better. You know the crowds out there when they're hot, it makes the show better. When you look at NXT, when the crowd is hot, it makes the show better. And this crowd did not do anything to help. And I understand, they're not technically part of the show, but on TV it comes across that way. On video it comes across that way. And if the crowd doesn't at least root or cheer or do something, it makes it come off really bad. So that pushed it into having to add in sound sweetener. Now they put this loop of crowd noise in there, and then you could tell that it's looping every minute or so. You hear the same spot going on in the background, or every 30 seconds or so. It just drove me up the wall. It sounded terrible. To say nothing of the fact that the camera angles during this match made it blatantly obvious that the announcers were not announcing. You got Dave McClain and the guy that he's working with, I can't remember his name right now, sitting on the side talking to other people or not moving their lips at all or something like that. I mean, I can only imagine that there were not any other camera angles to use, or they thought that somebody wouldn't see it. Or they just maybe felt like it wasn't that important. And it may not be, because who am I to talk? I do the same thing. When I produce video, there are clips out there where I am on camera and you hear me talking anyway. So, I understand. I'm not pointing a finger. I'm not saying that, they should have done better. But, I just would like it not to be so blatantly obvious, where the camera is high above. They got a crane shot and they're shooting down in the ring, and they got the commentator table on the side, and you can see that they're not doing anything as they're calling the match. So, things like that. But yeah, the biggest issue there is things that they couldn't control. The crowd was just a crap crowd, and they had to try to fix it somehow with the audio, with the sound sweetener and the crowd noise. But the match in itself is, like I said, it's a pretty average match. You can go in there and see it. You can watch it on WOWE.com and check out all of the matches that they posted thus far and the bonus clips. The next match that they have online, or I should say in line to get ready to go live, is the Bully Busters versus Cage Heat match. And that will release this next Friday. So they drop every Friday, and they've been pretty faithful to that. I don't imagine that they're going to change it. So that is it, folks. You got a B review for me with the match, but you got an A, I would say A+ review off of the bonus clip starring Sophia Lopez. It was quick, concise. I loved it. So that's it, and we will get ourselves ready for the next one that is dropping. Hopefully it will be a reasonable match with the tag team champions, Cage Heat, taking on the Bully Busters. And I have seen the previews, and I will say this before I go. The previews do exist on YouTube. They have every match. They got the results of every match that they're releasing this season up on their YouTube channel. So if you want to see a condensed version of the match right now, you go to WoW Superheroes on YouTube and you can watch that. But if you're waiting to see it, and I already know the results, I'm going to say that. I know the results of all the matches that's going on. But if you're waiting, then you can just go to their website and watch it there. Which is why I said I don't know what they're doing with the Bullet Busters, because I saw the result of the match, but I will reserve the ultimate judgment until I see the match, because maybe they have something that gave me a surprise. I don't know. So that's it, folks. That's another episode of the WoW Review. We will join us next week for the 5th episode in WoW. So until then, make sure that you like and subscribe our videos. If you want to see some other wrestling matches, go browse around our YouTube channel and possibly our Facebook page, and you can see some of the top girls on the independent wrestling scene, including some of the WoW Superheroes, wink wink, that have gone on to working independent shows. We have some of them, and they have some great matches, some lengthy matches too. So if you like your matches long, you like it 10 minutes or better, with some great exchanges in the ring and all that good stuff, that's where you got to go. You got to go to Women's Pro Wrestling Network on Facebook and YouTube, and go to WPNWrestling.com, our website. All of your support helps, keeps us going, keeps us growing, and keeps us giving you matches and reviews and podcast interviews, all that good stuff. And we want to be able to keep doing that for you, and we appreciate the support. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you for listening to the WPN's Rights and Wrongs of Pro Wrestling. If you have questions or comments, please contact us via our Facebook or our YouTube channel at the Women's Pro Wrestling Network. If you're new to the WPN, feel free to subscribe to our channel and like our page. We appreciate your support. Thank you again for listening.